what's the key message you're trying to get across to people?
The key message, because I think you're right, especially now in the year 2026, the acknowledgement of the problem, like of
Yeah.
GPS reliance or using autonomy in contested environments, I think that's pretty well understood. There is what I think has happened to kind of confuse it is there's still the PNT kind of community or alt PNT community. They've done
Yeah.
these people have been admiring this problem for 20 years in some ways, if not longer than that.
Yes.
And they do these kind of, frankly, kind of goofy conferences in DC where people fly in and they wouldn't leave with any solutions. And most of the time, the answer was literally, well, just put another GPS antenna up on the device and we'll sell that to the government. That'll make our revenue better. And it will marginally increase the ability to receive a signal. So marginal it has no real effect on anything. But they could say in
Mm-hmm.
a lab paper that the effective decibels received went up this very incremental amount. In the real world, it really had no impact. And that was the whole PNC community. They just weren't interested in this. And then you still have a host of companies and other folks that are, the way I say it is like their business model is based off of, hey, buy this magic box. This
Yeah.
magic box will solve your problem. This
Yeah.
quantum IMU, this magnometer, this laser comm kit up in low Earth orbit, this special atomic clock. It will be great. We have there's one drone company we're working with kind of at early stages right now. And they are trying to get the price of drones down, which is a good mission, right? We need
Well,
more of
yeah,
them.
that's a huge
Yeah,
issue
it's
right
a huge
now.
problem,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so they've gotten this one down. I think they're trying to get down to $2,000 landed, and maybe even like
Wow.
below 1,000. So they're making some progress on this.
Yeah.
Just stripping it down and trying to simplify the supply chain, all the stuff that kind of goes into this. So they're working on this, and then they have a requirement to operate in contested environment. Well, they don't have the technology to do this. None of the
Yeah.
OEMs do. So
Yeah.
then they go shopping and they do, what you'd call like an analysis of alternatives. Well, who can I buy to do this? So they
Yeah.
go to a special INS making company that makes this, inertial navigation system, a quantum one, whatever that
Yeah.
means.
Yeah.
And they make a quantum IMU, and that quantum IMU company that can make max like hundreds of this per year. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's their
Yeah.
production. Making one of these particular quantum IMUs, it's about as complicated as making a nano chip. Like you're in temperature dust controlled facilities, very complicated, very expensive.
Okay.
They quote them $80,000 per drone on their $2,000 drone.
What?
That is the status of what the drone OEMs and other robotic systems, unmanned surface vessels, all the way up to low Earth orbit, that's what they're having to deal with. There's no good options for them.
Yeah.
And part of what we built was we invented a new technology, but we also built a company from the ground up that can be profitable with just software.
Yeah.
I don't have to sell some kind of a hardware
You
initiative. I
don't
don't
need the
have to
box. You
sell
don't
something.
need the
Yeah,
box. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
So on that note, if there's people out there obviously watching this who have expressed interest. How do they tap into your software? In other words, is this software as a service? Is this, you buy a subscription? Is this you just buy it whole cloth and then you have to get updates? Or like what's your business model in terms of like, from a customer standpoint?
Yeah. So
How does the
so
customer?
so step one is we perform what I call an integration as a service. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where, we try to make this very low friction for
Yeah.
another company or government entity, where they can
Yeah.
basically, metaphysically drop this thing in my lap, whatever
Yeah.
size it is, and say, I need it to work.
Yeah.
Then we take our Docker containerized technology and we then integrate it into that software hardware solution. And that's kind of a variable thing, right? If they're using very open source common standards, that's pretty fast. If they're
Yeah.
using a bespoke DARPA project, that might take a little longer.
Yeah.
So it ranges in there, but it's something we do. So we do that.
Yeah.
There's a whole process we go through for the synthetic environment, the modeling of the agent, the bench testing for the software development, the identification of the sim to real gap, closing that gap for the noise, remodeling that noise, and then integrating for final operational, validation. So it's kind of a whole
Yeah.
flow we do, and that's what we do, right? It's an integration as a service. And then after that, it's a simple software as a service. like
Ah,
any other software. Like per device, orders of magnitude cheaper than any other attempt for GPS denied solution. And then what you're getting, because it's software that's fully self-contained, you don't have the limits of, oh, it doesn't work if in certain areas without clear defined magnetic lines, or oh, it
mhm.
doesn't work over water, which is how
Yeah,
most right now, or oh, it doesn't work in the dust, or oh, it makes your price go from $2,000 to $82,000 for your landed good.
right.
This is now a very light thing. We also built this ML model, which the synthetic GPS around like the core part of the tech. We built that in a way where it can sit on very cheap compute. So we built it down to a Raspberry Pi 4. This is not a NVIDIA GPU that's powering an LLM factory. Like this is not. This is a cheap chip. I think they're about 65 bucks. That
Mhm.
Raspberry Pi is a company. They originally made these things to just be in grocery stores for price monitors. Like that's all.
Okay.
This is like lightweight compute. So
Yeah,
that also, what that provides is a really optimized solution for somebody who is trying to keep this thing cheap. They're trying to keep it light. They're trying to keep the battery life as high as they possibly can.
yeah,
And and they don't want to, integrate so many things that it becomes so fragile, the whole system just starts to go, its reliability starts to go way down.
yeah,
So that's what we've thought about kind of all these things as we've, what I believe we've done is kind of defined a new category for autonomy, based on starting with the hardest environments first and
yeah.
then allowing it to generalize from there.